Getting a haircut is simple for most. But for others like Dominic Blatnick and his mother, it's a challenging task.
Dominic, he was diagnosed with autism when he was 2.5, then ADHD, generalized anxiety disorder at 3, and then epilepsy 4 years ago.
Kathy Blatnick says her son has sensitivity to light and sound, meaning even a loud pair of clippers can overwhelm him.
He's had 10 seizures because of different, changes in his routine or going, just anything that's really loud kind of makes him kind of shut down and not cooperate.
After years of at-home haircuts, Kathy says it's a place like H&M Clubhouse she's been longing for.
I'm gonna put a washcloth on your forehead, okay?
Owner Kelsey Simpson says she opened the salon after realizing how scary haircuts can be for children.
Some stylists just dive right in and start cutting, whereas I try to introduce them to the clipper. I'll touch their arm or say, here, feel it.
While the child-themed hair salon offers services to all kids, it specializes in working with autistic children or those with special needs, offering private services, quiet noises, even dim lighting to make clients, like Dominic, feel more comfortable.
The system, it's really hard to say, really to find a word to explain, and I think it's fabulous.
This is what we're used to getting in the store, but how do you get all of those apples in this container? Well, we took a trip to Country Mill Farms to find out.
One by one, apples are picked and thousands end up here on a giant conveyor belt to be turned into another fall treat.
We separate them by size, so we use the smaller apples, which still taste good, they're just not big enough to eat. Then we use those for making cider.
Steve Tennis is the owner of Country Mill Farms in Charlotte. Between giving student tours, he's also creating gallons of apple cider 2 or 3 times a week.
We take the small apples, we chop them up, and we literally squeeze them at about 80 pounds of pressure per square inch.
Tennis says a cloth creates a barrier for seeds, only allowing liquid to pass through.
And literally the cider comes right out of the chopped apples.
That cider then heads upstairs for UV light treatment to kill harmful bacteria that may be present. It's stored at temperatures around 30 degrees until ready to be bottled. The leftovers, Tennis says, will go to the animals. And the hardest part, the cleanup.
Just like at home when you make a big meal, then you got to clean up. And so that's at the end of the day. That usually takes about 3 hours, regardless of how long you press cider for.
We also learned it takes about 40 seconds for this apple to turn into this. Can you believe it? Here for you, Veronica Gabriel, 6 News.
These birds are almost 4 weeks old, so they're not very old, but falcons grow very, very quickly, and within another week or 2 they're going to be up jumping around, and pretty soon they'll be flying around. So the birds got 2 bands today. One is a normal U.S. Fish and Wildlife band. It's a silver band. It cannot be read from a distance, so that's a band that will only recover if something happens to the bird and it ends up dead. The other band is a color band, which is specific to our state. Some of these birds might end up in Michigan, some might end up in Canada. We don't know, but as long as they're banded and that band is identifiable, we'll be able to see where they end up.
It's great to be able to appreciate some of the small things in life that people take for granted, whether you're in recovery, not in recovery, struggle with an addiction, or don't struggle with an addiction. It's the small things in life that people tend to overlook that I'm not overlooking anymore, and it makes everything well worth it.
It's just fun to do. I know there's a lot of hip hop fans in here. Oh! Hey, hold on, we kind of.